Were you drenched even beforehand?
It's like a wet t-shirt contest.
The defensive work that you got tonight, I mean, were you overall pretty satisfied and probably more satisfied with that end of the floor than how things are coming along, just overall?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it, I think that this team, the versatility, the different guys that we have, is going to allow us defensively to change things up when we need to. On a night where offensively we were out of sync, a little bit up and down, but from a consistent standpoint, defensively, we kind of stayed in it. We held them to 34% from the floor. The goal was to be plus 10 on the glass. I believe we were plus 12. But for the most part, I'm happy with their effort. It's not going to be perfect on the first night, especially with a new group. But when things got tough, they figured it out.
Coach, you mentioned a little bit there, and you're just kind of general thoughts of the game and everything, but for you and what you accomplished here as a player, where does this kind of stack up? First win of many, obviously, like you said. Where does this one kind of stack up, just kind of in the memory bank here?
Yeah, I think I'm learning that, being a coach is a lot harder than being a player. When I was here playing for, Coach Larinaga, I didn't think that coaching required as much. And I'm sure if he sees this interview, he'll have, a bunch of texts from me later on. But, I think, for me, it's always going to be, and I'll keep on saying this, and I'm actually glad that the first game is over, because as much as these guys have given me and my staff and committed to coming to play at George Mason, the effort that they've given, I mean, these guys are talented and could have gone different places. The things I learned when I was a player here, the things I learned as a coach, I want to pour it into them, and it's as successful as we've been or was in 2006. I want these guys to have, their own experience, and, hopefully we're buying into that every day so we can get as close as possible to that.
Was suit just the first game, or are you going to always be wearing the suit?
No, I love suits. And we took a little bit of a staff vote, and, it was like, it might have been 4-2, and so, I told them we'll go suits year one, and hopefully, year one is a good one and we can keep on wearing suits.
First of all, congratulations on your first win. Second, how is Malik? He took a pretty hard fall. Is he okay?
Malik is from Texas, man. He's from Longview, Texas. I coached in Louisiana for a couple of years, and I recruited a bunch of kids in that northern Louisiana region. And the one thing I found out real quick is how tough those guys are. He's one of our toughest guys, if not the toughest guy. That's why he's captain. I didn't think he went down that hard, and so I was expecting him to come back, and he's okay. He's fine.
Okay.
Coach, congratulations on your first win. I want to ask about Woody Newton a little bit. I thought he brought it off the bench super long. Can you talk about his contributions?
Yeah, I mean, Woody Newton, I've known Woody now for what feels like forever. I recruited Woody the first time around, and then the second time around, and then the third time around, he decided to come. I got water dripping down my face. But, Woody's 6'8", with a 7-foot wingspan. If Woody can find a way to just turn a couple wheels, I think Woody can play professional basketball because of that. We talk about length all the time. Woody is probably 50% of that length. And he's gotten better. He has some up and downs in the summer. And just the buy-in, he's been through some stuff, but he's really bought in the last several weeks. And I think you're starting to see just him turn the corner because of him buying into just what we expect from him.
And then Keyshawn Hall grabbed 10 boards. Is that something that you saw in the offseason in practice from him, or is that something that kind of clicks when it's game time?
No, he's got a natural ability for just the feel of the basketball. I give these guys a lot of freedom, and one of the reasons I wanted to give these guys freedom is because he's a point forward. He's still learning, but he's got the ability to make plays, and as you see, like, he's kind of like a magnet to the basketball. So it doesn't surprise me that he got 10 defensive rebounds. I would have loved if he got a couple offensive rebounds, but we'll save that for film tomorrow.
And then Amari and Darius, those back-to-back threes. Did you feel like that was kind of the, closing of the coffin?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a big three by Amari. You know, we work on it every day. You know, when we do our individual work with our guards, our wings, our bigs, they all do the exact same workout. We track their record of what they're making, and Amari's shown the ability to make those shots. And so when guys come to me and ask me, hey, can I take this shot? We just look at the stats and say, yeah, you can take this shot, but if you're a red light shooter, it means you can't take the shot. If you're a yellow light shooter, if you're open, time and space, take the shot. If you're a green light shooter like a Darius Maddox and Keyshawn Hall, you shoot the ball whenever you want. Amari, he's been kind of in between that, yellow and green, and so if he has time and space, he's more than welcome to make that shot, and that was a big one that he took tonight.
Tony, a bit more on Amari. I know he mentioned it at different stops, maybe not used in exactly the same way. What have you kind of seen from him that where you're able to expand his game maybe a little bit more than what he saw?
For a kid like Amari, he's been through a lot. I think there's just a trust factor. He was pretty much the first one that committed to coming to George Mason when I got this job. But he's trusted in us as a staff. We've given him the confidence again in practice. Not a lot of bigs get to shoot threes in practice. But he's had that freedom. He's bought into it. He's put the time in. He's in with the coaches all the time. And he's a confident kid. He's emotional. I'm trying to get him to use it, a little bit more positive. We talked about having a chance to compete against other guys. He's my one guy that thinks everybody's a bad ref. And so, it doesn't surprise me that he came out tonight and had 17 and 8 because he finally got to play against somebody and have somebody else guard him. And we went down to him down the stretch, and he really stepped up tonight.
Coach, we talked about the transfers, Amari, Woody, Darius. What can you say? I know it's early, but the impact of those guys coming into the program.
I mean, it's been huge. It's been huge. I mean, again, these are guys that have played at the highest level. Woody Newton started, 75% of his games at Oklahoma State. Darius, was, almost the ACC MVP because he made, big shots. I think almost 20 points to win the ACC championship. A guy that made almost 53s. Giving these guys a little bit more with the work we've put in, it doesn't surprise me that these guys have stepped up, and I think we're deep and talented enough where it's going to require different guys on different nights to be able to step up, and that's really, to me, the first sign of a good team or a solid team.
Anything else for Tony? Okay. Thank you.